Hi everyone, my name is John Vincent Canha from BPED11N, and in this video I will discuss the different movement terminologies. And let's start. So first is the angular movements. There are flexion, extension, then abduction, adduction. Then the last is the circumduction. And when we say the flexion, describes a bending movement that decreases the angle between a segment. It is a proximal segment. And when we say extension naman, it is a opposite flexion, describing a straightening movement that increases the angle between the body parts. When bending and decreasing the angle of the palm or hand and hips, that's what we call flexion. And when straightening and increasing the angle of the palm or hand and hips, that's what we call extension. Next is abduction. It is the motion of the structure away from the midline, while adduction refers to the motion toward the center of the body. When my arms and hips getting away from my body or midline, that's what we call abduction. And when my arms and hips getting toward to my midline or body, that's what we call adduction. And the last is the circumduction. Circumduction is a combination of flexion, extension, adduction, and abduction. Circumduction. When my upper limb and lower limb is circulating, that's what we call the circumduction. This is the mix of abduction, adduction, and next is the special movements. There are inversion, eversion, elevation, depression, and opposition and reposition. So first is the inversion. When we say inversion, it is the movement of the soul towards the median plane. And when we say inversion, it is a movement of the sole of the foot away from the median plane. When we say inversion, the sole is turned in toward to the midline. And whereas in eversion, the eversion is turns away from the midline. Next is the elevation. When we say elevation, refers to the movement in the superior direction. And when we say depression naman, it refers to the movement in an interior direction. It is the opposite of the elevation. When my shoulders up, that's what we call elevation. And when my shoulders down, that's what we call depression. And the next example is the mandible. When my mandible is up, that's what we call elevation. And when my mandible is down, and the last is the opposition. When we say opposition, it refers to the movement that involves a grasping of the thumb and finger. And when we say reposition, it refers to the restoring an object to its natural condition. For example, my finger. When my thumb or finger meets the tip of another finger, that's what we call opposition. And when my finger is back to the original form, that's what we call the reposition.